Welcome. My name is Natalia. I am the director of the Manor Career Center. I just want to mention all the pictures you will see are events at Brooklyn College. These are real Brooklyn College students. And one thing I wanted to mention, and you can see a little bit about myself and my background. I think the key is that I have a high schooler, a freshman. But I wanted to mention part of the motivation of why I'm doing this. Um, Things have changed a lot from when I went to college, and the even from when I started working at Brooklyn College, how much employers expect and how early they start to recruit students. And having again a high schooler myself, I see how much um, I talked to him about his interest and guiding him. And while I work at a college with college students, we've seen the need to kind of talk to students even earlier. So this was a great opportunity to share our experience and expertise with the high school students or their parents. So presenting with me today is Raquel. So there's a little bit about herself. Raquel, if you want to say a few words.
Yes, hi everyone. Thank you for joining us. My name is Raquel, and I'm currently a senior in my very last semester with Brooklyn, majoring in psychology. I went to the High School of Telecommunication Arts and Technology, so if anyone went there, shout out to Tele. Um, and when I started college, I definitely knew that I needed to be much more engaged and active because I did not really follow that route when I was in high school until it came to time to apply for college. So when I started, I knew it was really important to really take advantage of different programs that were on campus and also intern. I personally didn't even know what an internship was or really how to create a resume when I started school. So it was incredibly important for me to figure that out. And I think after having a couple internships, I started gaining a sense of what I wanted to do career wise. To now, I am currently interning with an organization in media called Fox Corporation. And it's been a really great experience so far. And I really do attribute it to all of the resources and the career resources I've learned. And I think a lot of the resources that we'll be sharing with you today are a lot that definitely helped me. So I'm hopeful that it can help you all with your own career navigation as well.
We're going to show a quick video just because this is just a great example of a student who started their career preparation as a freshman. I'm going to cut the video. I'm not going to show the whole thing.
Hi, my name is Shizoda. I'm a junior at Brooklyn College studying computer engineering, and I'm excited to share my story about how Magna Center helped me. I entered Brooklyn College as a freshman, and I didn't have a job experience. I didn't really know what an internship was. I never had done a cover letter or a resume, and I came here completely clueless. I first went to the job fair, and I just worked as a volunteer from 8 a.m. to the whole day, and it was absolutely amazing because I got to meet all the staff and I got to meet all the students, and I was really excited just to be a part of it. So I went to more panels, more events, and eventually I became an ambassador volunteer, which was like an unpaid position, and I worked a lot, and it was absolutely amazing. There's a lot of things people don't tell you when you're a first generation student or you're an immigrant. Nobody really helps you find an internship. Nobody really tells you when you're supposed to start looking, and I certainly didn't have anyone. When I started volunteering here, I learned about all the different things I could do. I met with so many different panelists. I met with so many different inspirational men and women, and I felt really empowered, and I started just looking for an internship as a freshman. Since then, I've secured an internship as a website developer. I've secured an internship as a software engineer. I've done small size companies where me and like one other person was the whole engineering team. I've had a medium sized company where Teachers Pay Teachers was the company I worked at, and I got to do everything from DevOps to software engineering to website development, and I'm really proud of that. This summer I'll be going to JP Morgan, and it just would not be possible without the support and advice I got from the Magna Center.
Okay. So she goes on a little bit more about our office, but the key was that, I wanted to emphasize that she started planning as a freshman. Shizoda was very active in leadership positions. And actually, since this video, she interned also at Facebook and Apple. I did want to mention, because I think a good group of those attending today are from FDR, and Shizoda's actually, that's the high school that she attended. Part of, again, the motivation of doing this is, and some of you, if your parents, or if you think of your parents, could maybe relate, whether you switched your major or you don't necessarily love your job. So part of the thought process is the more you really think about what you want to do, what you enjoy, the less likely is that you will change your major or that you graduate and end up not liking what you do as a profession. And even, many of us may know students who end up staying in college a lot longer because they don't know what they want to do and they're sort of just testing a variety of things. So I don't want anyone to feel like an intense pressure, but the idea is the more you do little steps at a time, by the time you get to, graduating like Raquel, it should be very clear what's the right path for you. And I think of like my son who volunteered working with kids, and he's clear that he never wants to work with children. So at least he knows that now, that he can kind of cross that off the list of possible things that he would want to do. One of the things I think that's important is, and I think I don't want to date myself, but when I was in college, 20 something years ago, there was sort of this one path. You go to college, you graduate, you get this career, you might stay there for a while. And I think if we think of all of our examples, there are people who go to school after, having a career, or they ends up, starting school and they're working at the same time. And so to me, what I wanted everyone to know is there's not one way for someone. Everybody's story and situation is unique, and no one should feel pressure to say that if I don't do it this way, I'm not going to reach where I want to end up. Sometimes a direction might take a little longer than somebody else's, but it doesn't mean it's the right or wrong path. And in terms of, thinking about choosing a career, I'm going to share with you guys at the end a handout that you or your parents can go through some of the questions to help you. So some of it is basic things like, what do you enjoy? Because that's definitely an important thing. What are you good at? What are things that might be needed for the career? Because in some fields, let's say computer science, accounting, you can go straight into the field right after graduation. Whereas in other professions, if you want to go into speech pathology or nursing, you're going to need an advanced degree. So all of those things are things to be thinking about. And part of it, and I know one of the questions people asked was, would we go into detail about careers? There are thousands of careers, so we won't go into specific ones, but we want to arm you with the resources and tools so you can do that research and find out more about each profession. And I think another thing to consider is how much in demand is that career, not only just now, but in the future, so that you're not picking a profession that maybe won't exist in 10 years, or there might be professions that don't exist now that will exist. So again, that research and identifying what you are good at, what you like, and what's available. And so this is the ideal, right? Is finding something that that pays you well, right? Because at the end of the day, you could love do your job, but if it's not helping to support your needs or your family, that can be difficult. Maybe you're good at it, but it's not something that you enjoy. So the ideal is really to have sort of a cross section between all of those areas. And there, again, there is no, college students will come to us often. Well, what career is the right one for me, or where will I make the right, make the most money? And our goal is really just, again, to help the students do that research and help them answer that question for themselves, because there is no one right answer for, any particular student. It's just being really well informed and making good decisions, because you don't want to go one direction and then decide you don't like it, or you decide that maybe it is a career that is dying and there's not going to be a lot of job opportunities. So the more you can research, the more that the decision is going to be the right decision for you. And one of the things I think that, I have found, a lot of times people do know what they're interested in. And so if you think about what companies you are interested in or professions, and being able to think about possibly talking to people in that field. So where do you want to end up? I would love to be a lawyer, or I think I want to be a speech pathologist, and trying to talk to people or do research, books, videos, whatever information that could help you determine how do I become whatever it is that you want to become. So think about where you might want to end up and then try to work backwards to get that research that can help you figure out how to get there. So I'm going to pass it over to Raquel.
Thanks, Natalia. So if you can see, these are the top 10 attributes that employers seek. And if you notice, there is a very common theme here that a lot of these skills are skills you all probably already have and are developing at this moment. A lot of these are considered soft skills, in which it's your ability to work with a team and interact with others well and be somebody who people would enjoy working with. And a lot of the times that's what it comes with when employers are seeking new hires. And I think oftentimes, or especially myself as a student who was constantly seeking internships or jobs, there was always a concern that you need 10 years of experience, or you need to know all types of platforms or some type of special skill you need to have. But in reality, a lot of the times, these are skills you're developing, whether in your classes, at home, with family, when you're working together, when you communicate with friends. There are a lot of things that anybody can essentially develop, and something that you don't have to necessarily be worried about of I didn't work at XYZ company, or I didn't, take a certain class. But these are things, especially when it comes to like group work, very great times a lot of people usually have when it comes to group work for projects, but it's something that can really help you develop skills necessary for your job, your future job. So if you can see here, these are also ways you can start thinking about how to learn more about careers. So for starters, one thing you can begin doing is developing a list of careers that interest you and some that don't. A lot of the times we even recommend first thinking of which careers don't interest you. That way you've got an idea of, okay, I don't want to do this. I know I don't want to be a teacher, or I know I don't want to be a lawyer. And that can really help you figure out what it is that you do like. And a lot of the times, another thing you can do is just speak to people around you. I know when I was a senior in high school and trying to figure out what college I wanted to go to, I decided to talk to my teachers and realize, what was it that you wanted to do? Why did you decide to become a teacher? Or why did you decide to become a science teacher? And really figuring out that how they navigated their own careers as well. And I think it's especially really great to utilize your teachers, because oftentimes, at least I personally did, I forgot my teachers had their own lives and were experiencing the same thing we are. So I think it's great to utilize teachers, family members, or whoever it is, whose career interests you or whose background interests you, that you could definitely talk to more and learn about their potential careers. Other things you can do is shadow someone. So if someone, again, like we said, has a job that you're particularly interested in, you can learn more about what they do, ask them some questions like what it is that you do on a day-to-day basis, what type of projects do you work on, what skills do you think are necessary to have, and other things like volunteering. This could be doing something over the summer, or even online now. There can be a lot of opportunities despite the current pandemic. And additionally, you can also research through, whether it's looking online, especially YouTube is a huge resource where it's looking at people's day in the life. And especially if you ever fall down those YouTube holes, looking into potential careers is a great thing you can do. And further, the last thing we're going to mention is participating in clubs and events. And this is also really great, especially if you're still in school. Just join a club, figure out what it is that you like and what you don't like to do. Whether it's a cooking club or a science club, just try things out. And if there even is a club that you're not interested in, just try to make one and develop that initiative and agency to start something at your school as well. So if you look here, Natalia will definitely share all these resources after our conversation, but these are lots of different places where either current high school students can intern or volunteer at, and even early career college students, so freshmen or sophomores. These are all places that are constantly looking for new hires, either in high school and or early college.
I think one thing important too, because again, when I went to college, this didn't really exist. And I've seen the expansion of opportunities for high school students. And it's important to note that, because employers now, by the time you're a junior, expect that you've done, like Raquel, in Raquel's case, you've done 3 internships or 4?
3.
Yeah. So she's already done 3 internships. So that's important, that you could start to build that experience and also get to test out I didn't like that internship. Now I know I want to do maybe an internship more focused in social media.
These are some things, what again, like we said, you can do literally right now at this moment. And because you are here, you are actually doing it right now as we speak. So participating in career related activities such as coming to see us, or also being active and building experience. So like we said, this can be joining clubs, interning, volunteering at different organizations, talking to people in your network, and also being a leader. So again, if you are a group work, something as simple as participating in class or working on a group project and taking the lead on that. These are all things that can definitely help you excel. And one thing definitely for sure, researching and having a mentor. You don't necessarily have to formally ask someone to be your mentor, but if you have somebody who you admire, or somebody whose career path you really like and would like to know more, definitely feel free to ask questions. And the worst thing that's going to happen is that they'll say no, or you just might kind of not really get a response after, but it's totally okay and you just keep going. But definitely, I also want to point out the iceberg illusion. And I think even more so now with constant social media. And I think a lot of times when we look, we always see the success. We always see, the really great stuff, but we tend to forget a lot of the times the hard work that comes with it. And even for my own, I can now probably say I had 3 internships, but I also got rejected more than 10 times, a lot of times, lots of interviews where I feel like I totally bombed, but a lot of that was with practice, and lots of failures, but really making it into a learning lesson and developing that sense of just agency and resilience to keep going and keep applying. That's helped me tremendously. So just really hone in on keeping that momentum going.
Yeah, I think you brought up a couple of good points. I think, about sometimes I know I'm first generation, and so my parents did not have connections, but we forget, as Rachel said, your teachers, they might be married to a doctor, their best friend might be a lawyer. And so don't think that the people in your immediate circle, that if they don't have a profession that interests you, that that means they can't help you. Let them know what you're interested in, and they may be able to refer you to someone that is in that field. I think it's also important to note, as Rachel said, I mean, Raquel said that she wasn't as active in high school as she now wishes she could. And I think it's great to remember that it's never too late, to kind of make up for lost time. It's never too early to get started, but for no one to feel, if you're a senior in high school right now, that you don't feel like, oh, I should have done X and Z already. Just keep moving forward, and there's always time to do whatever you've missed out on. So before I forget, the beautiful virtual backgrounds, if you haven't been at Brooklyn College's campus, so the Jocelyn, Raquel, and my background are all Brooklyn College's campus, in case you have not seen that, and it's beautiful. So these are links to some resources. For those that joined us late, I'm going to share this PowerPoint and the recording so that you'll have these links. So the first one is a summary of some freshman, sophomore programs so as you pass on to college, you'll be able to take advantage of. Our YouTube channel actually has tons of videos. We've done a lot of interviewing of employers and alumni, and we have them broken down by schools. So if you're interested in humanities, go look at the humanities videos, education, business, and there's a little bit of everything. So you can kind of start to use those videos to say, oh, I think I might be interested in computer science, and I'm not interested in X. Internships for high school students, so that a little handy list for you, a handout that goes with this workshop. So kind of, even what questions to ask somebody if you're going to talk to them about their career. And then 15 things to do this summer to stay productive, because I know right now it can be hard to get an internship or a summer job, but there are things you could do little by little that, can keep you moving forward. So that's kind of the end of the formal presentation, but now we wanted to make sure that we left plenty of time to answer questions that everybody might have.